Hey, it's Colleen with Rope and Resellers. I'm here for another weekly update of what I sold on eBay and Amazon for the week of August 13th through the 19th, 2018.
10 things sold this week. First up was this Sesto Mucci women's gold slip-on flats. These came out of the consignment store bag. They sold for $14.99, $19.37 is what I collected. I spent $1 on it through the consignment store that I work with, where I get a bag and take it to Goodwill and get to pilfer through it first. So I usually get about 10 things out of there. So they average out to about $1 a piece. $7.01 for PayPal, eBay fees, as well as shipping costs, for a total profit of $11.36, and they took 3 months to sell. These had some funky heels on them too. I had someone try to buy them before, and she had a balance issue, so they weren't going to work for her. Okay, the Tonka truck. Looks like a great price, but wait till you hear how much I paid for this stupid thing. Anyway, it sold for $79.99. I collected $98.14. I spent $45 at an estate sale, and I will talk about this later. But basically, I didn't know how much it was until I went to check out. $29.74 for shipping and fees, for a total profit of $23.40, and it only took less than a day to sell. So these old Tonka trucks are money, but make your money when you buy. Jeep Wagoneer badge. This was the left-hand one. I don't even I think I bought it at Goodwill. But anyway, it sold for $19.99. $23.74 is what I collected. I spent $1 at Goodwill. $5.94 for shipping and fees, for a total profit of $16.80, and it took 8 months to sell. Rust-Oleum. This is a paint kit, and someone asked me earlier, and I think they ended up buying it, about where it was stored, and I bought it at an auction, and it was in a storage unit, so I don't know if that storage unit was climate controlled or not, so I really didn't know. I just said, go ahead and buy it. If it doesn't work, let me know. So anyway, it sold for $14.99. I collected $22.09. I spent 50 cents about. It was in a big box of stuff from the auction. $22.22 for shipping and fees, for a total profit of $9.37, and it took 2 months to sell. Little Bear books. These came out of my kids' closet, so $9.99 is what they sold for. $13.16 is what I collected. I didn't pay anything for them. $6.80 in shipping and fees, for a total profit of $6.36, and it took a month to sell. This is a Sony Walkman, and I bought it at an estate sale thinking it worked, and when I tried it, the motor worked, but I couldn't get any sound out of it, so I sold it for parts or repair. And usually the motors are what go bad on this, so I thought maybe this would be something someone would want since the motor was working. $9.99 is what I sold it for. $13.49 is what I collected. I spent $1 at the estate sale. $5.05 in shipping and fees, for a total profit of $7.44, and it took 2 days to sell, so not very long. When these are working, they're worth about $25 to $30. Ralph Lauren top. Super cute. I thought it would sell earlier. Size 16, so it's a good size. Sold for $19.99. I collected $22.78. I spent $1 on this. It came out of the consignment store bag. $5.84 in shipping and fees, for a total profit of $15.94, and it took 2 months to sell. Berenstain Bear books, also out of my kids' closet. They sold for $14.99. I collected $19.18. Didn't spend anything. $6.80 in shipping and fees, for a total profit of $12.38, and they only took a month to sell. Polar. This is a little heart rate monitor with a chest strap. I thought it was worth more, but they're not. $24.33 is what it's sold for. I've got some weird pricing. I had this happen last week. I don't think it was on sale, but maybe it was. Anyway, $28.15 is what I collected. $2.50 is what I spent. Oh, I know why, because I started doing that thinking that was kind of a cool thing to do, an odd price. Now I remember, but it just makes it a weird price. Anyway, $7.52. in shipping and fees for a total profit of $18.13, and it took a month to sell. And last but not least, this sale came in last night. Somebody offered me 10. They thought the shipping was really high, but there were a couple different options on shipping. That was for a flat rate box. Anyway, I countered with 15 and they took it, so it sold for $24.26. Spent $1 on this at Goodwill back in the day, and you'll understand. $12.20 for shipping and fees. Total profit $11.06, but it took 2 years plus probably another year in my antique booth to sell. Looking at the numbers, $224.25 is what everything sold for. $284.36 is what I collected. I spent $53, most of it on the car. $99.12 in shipping and fees for a total profit $132.24. Amazon merch sort of saved me this week. 17 sold, 1 returned. That's the print on demand through Amazon for t-shirts and pop sockets. $63.78 is the total on that for a total this week of $196.02.
So an average week for me, I had hoped that wouldn't be an average week for me because things were going better, and I also have some returns that are going to be included in next week, so now I really have to pound the pavement and get to work and try to up my game a little bit this week to make up for a very expensive return of VCRs coming back to me. And I probably shouldn't pay to have it returned, but it was something funky that he said wasn't working, and it was working when it left, so I'm not sure if he just didn't know how to use it or what was happening. He said he did, but anyway, that's for next week. This week, I'd like to talk about that truck. So that was a really cool Tonka truck, and there was an estate sale, and the lady who runs it is really nice and has tons of pictures, and you can see ahead of time. So I'm standing in line. I'm the first one there at this estate sale, and this guy behind me is like asking all the workers, where's the basement? Where's this? Where's that? And they're not giving them any clues. They're like, we already showed you all the pictures. Try to figure it out. Well, I've made friends with everyone because, you catch more flies with honey. So they all told me where the stuff was. They're like, oh, there's toys. They know that I do a lot of toys. And so they said, oh, there's toys in the basement. There's the really expensive toys behind where they're taking the money. And then there's a few things out in the garage. So I knew ahead of time. And she said that when you go in, the stairs are straight ahead. So I knew ahead of time sort of where I was going to go. I was going to go to the basement because I figured those would be the cheaper toys. So I go down into the basement. The guy that was behind me that was badgering all the workers, obviously he's not made friends with these workers because they were not willing to give up any information to him, and I see why. Because I went downstairs, I looked through the rooms, and I saw the one with the wood paneling, which matched the picture in the listing, and I turned around the door, and I saw the trucks, and there were a bunch of Tonka trucks from like the 1950s, and there was tons of other toys and games and stuff too, but I also knew the higher end stuff was behind her. I didn't know what they meant by higher end or how they value things sometimes, because there was plenty of value to be had. So anyway, I grabbed the first Tonka truck, the one that I sold right away. That was $45. And then I go to grab another one, and the guy comes in behind me and like pushes up against me, and he goes, I touched it first, and got really aggro. So I went around the other side of him and grabbed another one, which I have still listed, which has camper on the side of it. It's not a name brand. It's not a Tonka. It's like a Spedco or something. I can't remember what the name of it took me a while to figure out who made it. So anyway, I grabbed that. I ended up ripping the camper, because it was just cloth and it's old. It's from the 50s. And I grabbed that, and then he just shoves me out of the way and starts pulling all this stuff underneath, some of the stuff that I was going to look at. And he was just completely aggressive and not very nice. So my tip to you is be nice. I mean, I knew where to go. I also knew that some of the games are upstairs. He also had his wife working upstairs and working the kitchen. There were a couple things that I wanted out of the kitchen. They were gone. I mean, those people went in there and they freaking got aggro and they took everything. And I just felt like saying, you know what? There's enough for everybody. And I went through and I spent like an hour and a half, 2 hours in this house because it was huge. It was upstairs, downstairs, and then a garage. And I found stuff that was worth way more. I'm going to make so much more profit on that truck. And even though I didn't know how much it was until I got the truck that I bought and then the other truck, until I checked out. There was no way I was going to put that back. That guy was so mean. I didn't want him to have it. So I was going to hang on to it until he left. And he ended up staying about an hour, hour and a half as well. But as soon as he left, then I was just like, forget it. I'm just going to buy it because I like the lady that runs the estate sales. And I looked at the price and it was $45 and I was like, oh shoot, there's not much meat on the bone for me there. And the other one was $25. So I'm actually going to make more profit on the $25 truck, not on the Tonka truck. But I found like this tiny little truck. It was an English trolley, and I have that listed for $40. That's probably going to sell. And I paid not even $1, like 50 cents for it. So my profit margin is so much better on these smaller things that I sort of found not entirely obvious. So when you're out there garage selling, be nice. There's plenty for everyone. And know that if you're a jerk, like I started talking to some of the other resellers I know, and they're like, oh, that guy. Like, how did I not know this guy? He was just completely rude. I mean, yeah, it's a small community. We are a small community. Be nice. Leave some stuff for other people. There's plenty. I mean, you're not going to make $1 million doing this job. You are lucky if you make 6 figures. And that is with help and a lot of fortitude. But if you are just a sole operation like me, be nice. I mean, anyway, I'm over it. He got what he wanted. I got more than what I wanted because I was savvy and I went through later on and tried to think about profit margin rather than just grabbing everything in sight and going for the shiny object. So anyway, just when you're out there, be nice and make friends with the shop owners. They're working really hard. Make friends with the estate sale people. Make friends. Don't be mean. Don't be rude. Don't be aggressive. There's no reason to be that way. Just treat others as you would want to be treated. So with that, I will treat you kindly and try to make this short and to the point, and you guys have a good week. Thanks for watching. Your comments I'm trying to get caught up on. Same thing with the extra video I did last week with the numbers. I haven't answered any of those comments, but I just really love reading everything that you guys say. You're always super kind and helpful and have some really good tips as well. So with that, have a good week. We'll see you next week.